What happened when I visualized every day for 30 days? I thought visualization was nonsense. Close your eyes, imagine success, and somehow your life changes. It sounded like wishful thinking, so I decided to test it myself. For 30 days straight, I visualized every single day. What happened shocked me, but not for the reason you think. Before we start, let's get one thing clear. This is not a story about manifesting a Lamborghini overnight. It's not about sending energy into the universe. It's about what actually happened when I followed a visualization routine based on techniques used by elite athletes, performers, and psychologists. And by day 30, I discovered something that completely changed how I think about success. But first, I made a huge mistake. Like most people, I started by visualizing outcomes. I imagined myself successful, confident, wealthy, accomplished. Every morning I'd sit there and picture the final result, the dream life, the perfect future. And honestly, after the first week, nothing changed. If anything, I felt frustrated because reality looked exactly the same. Then I found something interesting. Researchers have repeatedly found that mental imagery can improve performance, but the most effective visualization isn't simply fantasizing about the end result. It's mentally rehearsing the process. Studies involving athletes, surgeons, and performance training show that mental practice works best when it simulates actions and behaviors rather than just imagining rewards. That was my first clue. Maybe I'd been visualizing completely wrong. And that's when the experiment got interesting. So I changed one thing. And within days, I noticed something unexpected. Instead of visualizing success, I started visualizing effort. Every morning for about 5 minutes, I imagined specific situations. I visualized sitting down to work. I visualized finishing difficult tasks. I visualized distractions appearing and myself ignoring them. I visualized uncomfortable conversations. I visualized setbacks. And most importantly, I visualized myself responding well. At first, it felt ridiculous, but after about a week, something strange started happening. Situations I'd mentally rehearsed suddenly felt familiar. Not easier, just familiar, like I'd been there before. Sports psychologists have observed something similar for years. Mental rehearsal helps create detailed mental representations of actions and situations, making performance feel more familiar when the real moment arrives. But the biggest surprise wasn't confidence, it was awareness. Because around day 12, I noticed a change that had nothing to do with motivation. Most people think visualization is about becoming more positive. That wasn't my experience. The real benefit was attention. When I visualized a task beforehand, I noticed opportunities I normally ignored. I caught myself procrastinating faster. I recognized distractions sooner. I became more aware of my own habits. It's like my brain had received a preview of what was coming. Scientists believe mental imagery activates many of the same neural systems involved in perception, planning, and action preparation. In other words, visualization can function as a kind of rehearsal rather than magic. And that's when I realized something important. Visualization wasn't changing reality. It was changing how I interacted with reality. But there was still one major problem, because despite all these improvements, I still wasn't getting dramatic results. Then I discovered the mistake almost everyone makes. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Visualization alone doesn't work, at least not the way social media often claims. You can't sit on your couch, imagine success, and expect the universe to do the rest. In study after study, Visualization is most effective when paired with action, planning, and real-world practice. Mental imagery strengthens preparation. It doesn't replace execution. Think about Olympic athletes. They don't visualize instead of training. They visualize and train. Surgeons don't visualize instead of practicing. They visualize and practice. The visualization prepares the brain. The work changes reality. Once I understood that, everything clicked. So I made one final adjustment. And that's when the experiment produced its biggest result. Not more money, not instant success, something far more valuable. By day 30, my life didn't look dramatically different. I wasn't suddenly rich. I wasn't famous. I hadn't unlocked some secret law of the universe. But something had changed. I was more consistent, more focused, less intimidated by challenges. I spent less energy wondering what might happen and more energy acting. The situations I'd rehearsed mentally felt less threatening, less uncertain, and that reduced friction made it easier to take action. Research on mental imagery consistently shows benefits for performance, preparation, skill acquisition, and goal-directed behavior when visualization is used as a supplement to real effort. That may sound less exciting than a miracle, but it's actually far more powerful. So what happened when I visualized every day? I didn't manifest a new life. I trained my mind to recognize opportunities, prepare for challenges, and follow through more consistently. And maybe that's the secret nobody talks about. Visualization isn't about escaping reality. It's about preparing for it. Because the future isn't created by what you wish for. It's created by what you repeatedly prepare yourself to do. Don't visualize the life you want. Visualize the actions you'll take tomorrow, and then do them. Your future isn't built by wishing. It's built by rehearsing success and taking action every day. Tonight, spend 5 minutes visualizing the process, not the prize. Then wake up and execute. The person you become tomorrow starts with what you repeatedly imagine and what you repeatedly do. For the next 30 days, visualize your actions, not your dreams, and watch what changes. Tonight, visualize the process, not the prize. Tomorrow, take one action, repeat for 30 days.